Hey, everybody. I know that we all, as college students, read probably too much, and that gets tiring. So I wanted to share my responses to the pre-course survey in this form. I've also provided below it in written form if you'd rather read it. So, what is geography to you? For me, it is a lens through which to observe and understand the world. It inwardly and outwardly orients me to where I am, connecting and revealing the relationships I depend on to live. The deeper I dive into geography, the more I feel and understand my responsibility as a member of the Earth's community. Geography is part of the way I seek life. Geography is how we know where we are and how to get to the places we need. It is one of the everyday things we learn and use without realizing it. I liken asking a human what is geography to asking a fish what is water. It is everywhere and everything we live within. It is best expressed through the synthesis of different types of stories: music, science, myth, technology, legend, engineering, poetry, maps, athletics, and mathematics are examples of such stories, and there's many more. Geographic skills allow us to communicate across space, kin, time, place. It is the common tongue and understanding of all people. What geographic skills do you use in your everyday life? Oh man, this list could be almost infinite. Location, scale, observation, regionalization, pattern recognition, relationship recognition, spatial visualization and estimation, navigation, and I know that there's a lot more. I imagine geographic skills as a collection of tools that I am constantly adding to. They are all used in an integrated fashion and share responsibility in answering the three basic questions of geography that we're interested in. Who is where? Why are they there? And why should we care? Discuss the world region as defined by our textbook that most interests you in terms of its political, environmental, and cultural attributes. I am currently interested in my ancestral roots, which stretch back to Scandinavia, which is in northwestern Europe. Simultaneously, I'm interested in the indigenous cultures of the Americas, especially those that exist within the place I live, which is Las Cruces right now, and the places I have lived in the past, which there are several, but the first one that comes to mind is the place where I grew up, which is the Upper Klamath Basin in Southern Oregon and Northern California. Uh, these are kind of self-defined regions. To put them in the context of our textbook, these three self-defined regions there's more than three, but these regions that I've talked about that I'm interested in, our textbook would put them under U.S. and Canada, Latin America and the Caribbean, and Europe as well. What is the difference between analyzing and synthesizing? Both are intellectual processes. Analyzing separates and picks apart the interrelated nature of the world to simplify it and make it easier to understand. Synthesizing joins and connects the interrelated nature of the world. To understand the complex relationships that exist, while both are necessary and valid, I believe synthesizing must be emphasized to get at true reality. I think I kind of said, I think of like analyzing as like separating or focusing in on one particular thing, and then synthesizing as drawing them together. And like I said, I think both are useful and needed. But what worries me is that I separate and analyze and then stop. Um, that to me, analyzing always has to be followed up by zooming back out and then like, all right, so how does that knowledge that I just found, or what insight I was given by zooming in and separating things out, how is that, how is that a part of this larger picture? How would you describe your current location? I'm currently in Las Cruces, New Mexico, on land traditionally lived on by indigenous groups known to me as the Manso, Apache, and Pueblo nations. This is an area currently located within the Rio Grande Valley, and I'm currently east of this great river and west of the Organ Mountains. I am north of Tortugas Mountain and south of the Doña Ana Peaks. Today is another warm winter day with the moisture from rain 2 days ago already dried up. Although the landscape retains a slight wet desert smell, the neighborhood in which I rent a room has stark and abrupt transition from desert to western suburban development. So I'm sure you've kind of figured out I'm reading some of my answers. And I actually wrote this a few days ago. And so the update I would provide with that is that actually the last 2 days now have been colder, and we've actually gotten rain down here where I'm living, but it's been colder than when I wrote that. And so the Organ Mountains have actually been dusted with snow twice by now, and it's been absolutely stunning and beautiful. What is important to observe the world you are a part of and interpret your observations? Oh, sorry. Why? Why is it important to observe the world you are a part of and interpret your observations? It allows me to listen to the many teachers, especially non-human ones, that are constantly communicating and offering their perspectives. Hearing all of these lessons and expressions of life provide invaluable insight into my purpose and place in this crazy, scary, beautiful, sane, familiar, and ugly world. What is scale, and what do you gain by thinking and relating different scales to one another? I love this question. Scale is the ability to zoom in and out. I experience the world as a 6'1" human guy. This is my de facto scale and understanding of the world. When I travel by walking or running, I have a certain scale of how far I can travel in a day. Traveling by bicycle, train, car, raft, or ferry all change this scale of distance that can be traveled. Additionally, traveling by airplane radically changes the scale through which I experience the world by not only greatly changing the distance, which I've already talked about, but also by rising me high above the Earth's surface, which is usually something I'm connected directly to by my feet. Experiencing the world at different scales and contemplating them provides insight into not just the spatial reality of relationships, like what's the proximity between two different things, close or far away, that kind of thing, but also the possibility to become aware of relationships I was previously unaware of. What are expectations for yourself as the instructor of this course? I expect myself to always assume the best of us in this course. When mistakes are made by myself and others, I seek to not jump to negative conclusions. I expect myself to be patient and compassionate. In order to be truly compassionate, I expect myself to do what we need rather than what is easy. This means I will need to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. All of us have areas and contexts in our lives where we need relief, comfort, and others where we need adversity or affliction. I expect myself to act in ways that help facilitate this balance. All right. So those are my answers to the question. I hope that is useful for you as we move forward in the class. And I really appreciate the time and effort you put into your pre-course surveys as well. I'm going to read through them all, and they definitely provide me valuable insight to help facilitate this course for you. With that, I bid you good night, and I'll catch you on the flip side.